I'm joining live from my apartment. So welcome from my home to your home.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, I'm recording, so we can go ahead and start. We're Facebook Live and recording. So good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Loudermilk, the Programs Manager for Artsfield. Here today in place of our President, James McKissick. I'm pleased to welcome you all today on behalf of Artsfield and Arts Forward in partnership to provide opportunities to educate and to encourage Hamilton County's arts sector to vote. Today we talk to today's talk is around Chattanooga centered issues and topics with our city mayoral candidate Ryan Love. These are of most concern to our local arts sector, and we're also here to advocate for the arts funding and resources in our area. In regards to the organization I represent, Arts Build, our mission is to build community through the arts. We do that by funding local arts organizations and arts projects. We are an advocate for the arts, a convener, and an arts hub for Hamilton County. As always, I am most grateful to introduce my very good friend and coordinator of today's chat, Monica Kinsey, who is representing Arts Forward. Monica has organized these talks with our local candidates, and we are so appreciative for these opportunities. Getting to know our mayoral candidates is integral to the Greater Chattanooga and Hamilton County's arts sector and our community at large in choosing the next chief executive for Chattanooga. So Monica, with that, get started and I will take down our logo.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am Monica Kinsey with Arts Forward. We are a collective of 18 arts organizations. We work alongside Arts Build and providing shared resources such as HR, legal, marketing, awareness of the arts in the community, as well as advocacy for the arts in the community. The arts in Chattanooga contribute over $172 million to our local economy, and we feel that it's important that our arts community is engaged in their local elections. Simply put, artists create, contribute, and they vote. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest mayoral candidate today, Mr. Ryan Love, and our moderator, Kate Warren of Art 120. I will let each of our guests share a little more about themselves and their organizations as we kick this off. Kate, we'll start with you.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me, Monica. Welcome, George, to a little bit of our arts community. I'm so glad Monica has the opportunity to tape this as well. You know, everyone has a busy day around noon, but we got like 6,500 people that depend on the arts for their income. So I know that they will be checking in on this Facebook meeting as well as all the other wonderful Arts Vote CHA discussions we have had. So thank you, George. I'm sorry, we want to call you Ryan. That is the name that all your friends call you, and I appreciate you letting us do that as well. Just a quick, so just a quick touch. Art 120 is an arts education nonprofit here in Chattanooga. We've been around 10 years. Our main focus is working with providing equitable opportunities for kids to have art through Title I schools, after school programs, as well as connecting the arts through free public art events so we can make art accessible to everyone. And our main goal with that is to take it and make the arts in Chattanooga share and partner and coordinate within a 120-mile radius so we can reach outlying areas as well and help stimulate the economy here by trying to build those relationships down the road. So in a nutshell, that's us and what I do. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan.
Wow, I could write a book like I did before. Oh my gosh. My name is George Ryan Love. My friends call me Ryan. I'm a son of a crane operator who we lost in 2018. His name is George Matthew Love. Education-wise, I attended Red Bank High School. I have my bachelor's degree in political science, University of Tennessee, Knoxville, class of 2000. I taught Spanish for about a year. I have a master's degree, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. But I'm also a PhD in what I call the School of Hard Knocks, meaning I've endured over a decade of some of the craziest hardships you've ever imagined. So right now, I'm a million miles from there. I'm living in poverty. I'm disabled. I work for $10.50 an hour, and I'm a frontline worker. And I have physical and other health problems. So I have the educational background, and having run for office, the Congress seat, county mayor seat, I have the courage to take on some of the most powerful politicians around. And I've been doing this since 2015, 16, the 2 election cycles. I've taken on Chuck Fleischman and the Democratic establishment. I've taken on Jim Coppinger and the Democratic establishment. I have zero problems with telling the absolute truth. Okay, that's where I come from. As far as arts, I can't draw. But in 2013, my wife I'm separated from published our own book. They Were the Vampire, published in 2013. So I think arts is whatever expression you have. And I believe that everyone should have the venue to express their art, because art can be, you can paint, you can draw, you can write, you can take pictures. And because you can't do one thing, everyone deserves to have their artistic just expression displayed. And so that's what I believe. Now, I also understand the fact that the pandemic has wreaked havoc on the entire US economy and worldwide. Okay, COVID's ravaged my family as well. So the key is we want, when it comes to arts, and the economy should be measured how we're doing, not the business is doing, I believe. So what I believe when it comes to our community and making a living in the arts, we need to have a safe environment, because dead and sick people can't go to art galleries. We can't do that. So as a city mayor candidate, and if I win, I want to make sure that we house all the homeless, feed all the hungry, and make sure no one else becomes homeless or hungry, whether they're arts or not, because everyone deserves home, food, and shelter. And I believe in diversity, because art is a function of culture. So food and art are one of the 2 key hallmarks of a culture. So I believe that inclusivity for our students, for our immigrants, that we need to have more opportunities in the schools, in the community, people to express their art.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that, Ryan. I have a few, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know I have a few questions that people are dying to ask, and you're actually falling right in line with a lot of what they want to hear. So let me help boil it down.
This is what they want to hear, ma'am.
Yeah.
The fact that I care, and the fact that I'm telling the truth.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being on the front lines. We need all our essential workers right now. They're so important.
I run a register. I serve patients. I serve doctors. I walk on a walking cane, and I still serve people. Nothing's going to stop me.
So you understand the strength of differently abled people in our community.
Jesus is what gives us ability. There's no difference if you trust in him. And I'm going to say that till the day I die.
That's awesome.
That's the truth.
Yeah. So one of the questions we have is, as we're talking about with COVID-19, there's a lot of arts venues and artists that can't be out in the community right now. There's a lot of businesses that have been shuttered. So how will you as mayor engage our local arts community and local promoters to activate these city-owned venues and riverfront versus out of town entities to keep those dollars and jobs in our city once we are back on track?
Sick, dead, and dying people can't go to art galleries. I'm going to say it again. So I'm not risking anyone's life to go to an art gallery. Not going to happen. So we must have all the city resources ready to go. No one's going to lose their home. No one's going to go hungry. And, because, see, I work as a cashier in the hospital. I asked one of the doctors, how many COVID patients you got? I don't know, over 100. How many have died? I don't know. I'm not losing any of our beautiful, valuable artists to this pandemic. No one's, okay? So we have to make sure we have PPE, social distancing. We have to have the masks, contact tracing and vaccines for everybody. Okay. I love the arts. Okay. So I want to have, I said this at the CNE thing I did yesterday. You can't eat cold chips. You can't eat bullets. Filling potholes don't help us when we have kitchen pots that are empty. So, and I believe that. So I will be on the front lines of making sure no one goes hungry, no one goes without a home, and then those who don't have them have those, and for the arts community as well. Okay, before, and we're going to go by health experts. Okay, because the economy is the human being, how we can pay our bills. The economy is not how the CEO lives on a yacht.
Yeah, well, how this all comes together, Ryan, could you kind of give us, in your opinion, because it all relates to what you're talking about, maybe what the 3 primary roles of city government is that you see that we need to do? Say you're mayor tomorrow. What are our 3 primary roles of city government right now?
The pandemic has shifted everything into high gear. I want everyone, if they can, Andrew Cuomo gave a speech on the high tide and low tide about the disparities in society and how COVID put all these in sharp relief. So we have to talk about the context of right now, okay? The pandemic has changed everything. Now, if you believe the government is really we the people, then all of the resources should go to the taxpayers. The goal of the city government, the government of we, the human beings that live in this city, is I learned in college in my master's program about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Those who are in greatest need get help first. Okay, food, and the role of the city government should be to provide for the welfare of the people, not to pad the pockets of the rich, not be a conduit of the transfer of wealth from the many to the few through tax breaks, through companies getting tax funded programs, and still charging us rent, and they're to get paid for that. Accountability, honesty, and courage.
Okay.
May I interject and ask a question here? I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. You're fine. You're fine.
I just want to ask Mr. Ryan Love. I'm sorry. Ryan, sorry. I wanted to ask, right now with the pandemic and the response and the mandates that are coming out, they're all led through the county, not the city. The county mayor is who makes the mandates, the mask mandate, the health department is all ran through the county, much like our school system. So I'm just curious, as a city mayor, how you plan to implement any of these changes, because I understand your point, and then healthcare is very important right now in the pandemic, and it is affecting all of us, especially in the arts community as well. But I'm just trying to make sure that we are clear on the differentiation between county and city.
Right. We are a constituent of the county as well. So I intend to follow suit because we're under that jurisdiction like every other city in the county. We would do precisely what the county health department says: continuity and humility. So I don't want to interfere, okay? But however, we will follow the advice of the county health officials, and for the whole county to be on the same page, we must be in unity. So whatever the county health officials say, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to hold every business under my jurisdiction to account. And we're going to work in tandem with our county, our state, and federal government. We're a team here. We're a United States of America.
Right.
So I'm going to, not butting heads. I recognize, because I have a poli-sci degree, I understand where we fit in this, okay? We are all constituents of the county. So we all must be on one accord.
Right. And this is a big agenda. So it's going to require a lot of different groups and a leader that can look at all the different groups and potential partnerships to solve these issues. So, artists are known for problem solving. And
awesome.
would you Would you be open to engage artists in complex problem solving with issues such as juvenile delinquency, the homeless, violent crime? And please explain the whys of your answers.
Okay, violent crime. Now, I wonder what the artists have to say about us being available to get a gun license online, while we have conservative lawmakers that vote for policies that hurt the inner city. Gerrymandering is an issue because they can't see past their little pocket of population to see how it affects someone else. So, my soon-to-be ex-wife, studied theater of the oppressed. You know that term? Okay, I think bad happened there, but being with her, I learned a lot. Okay, so we need to bring it center stage. No, okay, all right, and we need to change the discourse. And art is an expression of what is happening at the time. But artists, you can write a book, you can do a play, you can sing, dance, write. Okay, because art is any expression you possibly can have. So yes, I want to work with the arts community to make it center stage. I don't care if we have to go to Nashville and put it in Billy's freaking face. We are dying and we need your help. So absolutely.
Okay, more on that. What role, if any, do you see the City of Chattanooga's youth and family development play in regards to art programs for youth?
Are you referring to the schools? That's a Hamilton County issue.
No, this is our youth and family development centers that.
I not having kids, I don't go there very, very often. Only when I need help with utilities or help with rent or something. I believe, obviously during the pandemic, social distancing and safety, contact testing and tracing, because with the pandemic, we have to be very, very careful before we do anything. So we need a green light from the health department, going forward. Many have died, many are sick. In a safe and an advisory manner, I believe. Of course, large gatherings are dangerous too. So everything is in the lens of maximum safety, assuming we all have tests and shots for everybody. But once things are safe in the community to do so, and I'm not jumping the gun on anything, okay, then I believe there is a role, community by community, to promote diversity and inclusivity, where children from the community can express themselves through whatever art expression they have, okay, through painting, song, dance, and whatever their expressions are, to tell their story. Let the world know the beauty and diversity and hardships of our community. So there is a big role, but it must work in tandem with the health department, and I will endanger no one's life. We've lost so much life. I'm not filling the ER because I work in the hospital. I don't want anyone to die alone any more than it's already going to, because we can't wait. So we must be careful. We must take precaution, and we must take things one step at a time.
Yeah, let's move on to another question. So the budgeting for outcomes process is how the government in our city has been, working on our city budget with a lot of input. What are your thoughts about the current BFO process? Is this something you'll keep, eliminate, or replace with something else?
One of the platform points was community input and budgeting. I don't like labels, but this is the approach that I want, okay? I don't want to get caught up in nomenclature and semantics. That's a useless and fruitless discussion. If the taxpayer is our money, we need a say in how it's spent. If the government is we the people, when you vote for Mr. Love, you're voting for you to have a say in how those tax dollars are spent, because the money belongs to you. So I don't know all the terms, but I do know that I want to have sit down with the budget, the arts community, domestic violence community, and city workers, and we're all going to sit down and look at the budget, full transparency, say this is our money, this is how we want it spent, and so everyone is happy, comfortable with the process. I don't know the terms, but my principle is the money belongs to us, and that's what I want to have, a conference of everybody, and then that way we have support on the front end, not like on the back, because I've been to a lot of rallies, and they'll say, well, we've been left out, like if we have business people using our money, we're voting for business people to do what they want with our money, and I am not with that. So 100% yes, yes, and yes. Okay. People from your organization, CNE, people from the city workers, and we're going to get together and we're going to all have an input, and then I'll propose that to the city council. Don't know who's going to win those things, but I hope the progressive people like me do. And then I'm going to say, this is the budget the people want. And if you vote against your own constituents. So that's part of my platform right there, is community input and budgeting.
Awesome. So another thing that has been at the heart of a lot of people these days is, of course, inclusivity, incorporating disabled culture into the message of where we are going as far as city policies are written and concerned. Yep. What are some specific steps you would take to make sure that disabled culture is included in those policies? What groups would you want to, what type of steps do you see could benefit with the policy changes? What types of your thoughts on policy changes would be? I would really like to hear that.
One, I am a disabled American. I have a panic disorder. I am ravaged by arthritis in almost half my body. I have sleep apnea, and I have asthma. I walk on a cane. There are places I can't get to. Okay. Mm-hmm. So definitely, as someone who has a plethora of health problems, and disability can mean so many things. So you have to meet people where they are. Blanket general statements do not work, because humans are very complicated. So I believe, because we have the ADA, the ACA, and a lot of different laws that mandate that we have more accessibility, even walking down the streets for people who have disabilities. Simple as increasing the time at a crosswalk, because I don't walk very fast. Simple things that you don't think about, and there's that phrase, people closer to the pain, closer to the policy. I'm as close to pain as going to get. I hurt every day, so it's the little things. You got to be good with the details. Mm-hmm. And that's why community input is important, because I'm not going to think of everything. So I want to be accessible and say, you're missing this. So one thing I learned in teaching is being a reflective practitioner, is always evaluate, always taking in new information, always being accessible to the public, not to the business community, okay? So therefore, it's a living, breathing organism, our government. I'm not gonna but as a disabled American, and someone understands the government belongs to the people, I will always have my door open, because I'm gonna miss something. I'm just being truthful. But accessibility to building, accessibility in crosswalks, accessibility to sidewalks. The disabled community is underserved, because name the number of disabled people in office. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is the principle that we have to fight toward.
Very good. Okay, well, while we're talking about that, let's talk about a little more about equity and inclusivity. So on that topic, there is a lot of issues surrounding gentrification in our Black and Latino communities and how they're being impacted. Right. How would you ensure that their culture in those communities, the Black and Brown communities, are preserved?
Okay, that's about a mile wide and inch deep. We have the Latino community, we have different Asian group. You have the Filipinos, the Chinese, Japanese. So that is so broad sweeping, like depending with a broad brush as an artist, you got to get into the details. What do you mean? Okay, and humans are complex too. That's what I know. But first of all, this was done on purpose. It goes back generations. It won't be fixed in 4 years. It was designed to be this way. This is done on purpose. Okay, now, point one. It comes to our nomenclature. Why is the black neighborhood called bad? Why is the white neighborhood called good? The way we talk, the way we speak. We speak into existence, good, bad, or evil.
Hey,
Okay.
hey Ryan, could I interrupt for just a second?
Sure.
You're preaching to the choir. I think our arts community is so about racial equity, inclusivity, and making sure that we're accessible to everyone as possible. But I didn't know if you had any specific steps that you think about when you're in mayor, what steps you would take to maybe ensure that their communities and their culture is preserved.
Okay. Community input and budgeting, because allowing them their voices, because they're so myriad. Okay. Not being closed off, being approachable. Okay. I've met people from the Latinx community. All right. Concrete steps, having them come meet with me in my office, going to where they are, including their needs in budgeting. Concrete steps like putting living wage jobs in the inner city communities. Because you can get busted for selling weed, but you can't buy CBD in Avondale. So I'm saying that this has been done on purpose. So concretely, we need to put living wage jobs in the inner city communities. We need to change the way we talk about it, because we speak it into existence, and we need to change that. That's concrete. Is how we talk and treat about different people. That is really concrete, because the way it's taught, the way out of the media. So I want to confront that, and then I even have talk shows, bringing them on, bringing them into City Hall, okay, going to the community centers, asking them what they want, having real meetings and conversations with these communities, asking them what they want, not throwing arbitrary ideas, but if I'm being paid by them, I need to do what they need to say. Okay, that's what I believe. Whatever they want done, that's what I need to do, because I'm employed by them. I don't get paid to do what I think they want. That's my philosophy. Mm-hmm. And we need a paradigm shift in how we think about public service and who we work for.
Awesome. Let's see. Along those lines, how do you see the city of Chattanooga's role in our local art community? How would they, do you see them as partners? Do you see them as independent? Or how do you see the art community with the city of Chattanooga?
The Bernie Sanders quote of most new income goes top 1%. I want to make sure regular people are getting wealthy in the art community, not just the big businesses getting wealthy off them. The role is to make sure that everyone gets the fair shake in that deal. Like for example, if you've seen that Patton Towers, someone paid, I don't know how much to turn the sidewalk blue. I didn't get rich off that. So making sure regular people are making a living off their art. Okay. So protecting the little guy. Our role is to protect the wealth of the basic people. That's our role, okay? Not just concentrated in the art museums, but the term starving artists, because no one's looking out. That's why they're starving, okay? Copyright infringement, small artists, accessibility to the market and stuff like that, So it should be our role to protect the common person in the art community, and not just the wealthy. in the art community.
To that note, how do you see the Chattanooga's Public Art Office play in that?
As an advocate for working people, I would actually be there to make sure everyone gets a fair shake in exchange. Though I'm not an expert on the Public Art Office, I'm not, but I'm bringing the principle of protecting the poor and making sure they're fairly compensated for their work. But again, there are answers that I don't have, but I will keep the principles of taking care of regular people throughout. And I've got a lot to learn.
Right.
And that's one thing, I'm delving into areas that I don't have all the expertise, but I think I've got good sound principles, and I'm willing to communicate and willing to learn.
All right. Let's see if I can. We're kind of going through these questions pretty good. Let's see. So now
I just want to.
Oh,
I'm
please
just
do,
being
Monica.
No, I was just going to remind everyone on the call that at 12:45 we'll take questions if they want to submit them to the Q&A.
Yeah.
But you go
I
ahead.
look forward to them. I mean, if I don't know the answer, I won't make something up. I'm just saying, I want to protect the regular consumer. I want to protect the working poor in every instance, in every situation. Forgive me if I'm not as familiar with the art community art office. I'm just not, because I'm a cashier at the hospital. There are things I'm not going to know specifically, but I believe I have a heart and the principle, and I want to be accessible and learn and partner. I'm going to admit I don't have all the answers. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know, but I work for you guys. I'm asking you guys to elect me so I can do what you want done.
How do you see the role of mental health in our community? What steps could the city of Chattanooga take to help address those issues as well?
It goes back to being people closer to the pain, closer to the policy, because how many people have actually had mental illness or dealt with it firsthand? So as mayor, as someone who has dealt with mental illness firsthand, because if you don't deal with it firsthand, you're just going to deal with it from a distance, though. So again, whatever you ask that I do, that will I do. It's basically to be responsive to the community. That is the role. Okay. And be responsible to the working poor in that community should be the role. My role will be to make sure that a few conglomerates don't get rich, but wealth and respect and fair compensation are available to everyday folks in the art community. So as a consumer advocate, and I think that's very important, okay? Because quote, patrons of the arts, the millionaires of our community, while we're the starving artists. I want to know, ain't nobody gonna starve under my watch.
Very good, very good. Let's see, we've already covered on that. Well, let me think. I've got a few other questions to go through on here. We've already covered.
I'm just speaking from the heart. The principles that I hold, the heart that I hold. You understand that? I'm just trying to be as authentic and honest.
Well, let's talk about some of the things you've been doing since you've been running for mayor. And it sounds like you ran for mayor even back in 2015. Is that correct?
The county race at that time.
The county race. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So you've talked to a lot of constituents and people in the community.
I ran for Congress 2016. I was in the Democratic primary. I went all over the district, different places though. I've been at the Keith Offer event downtown. I gave speeches down there. I had my Bernie button. I said, feel the burn, because I'm courageous, outspoken, and no one's going to tell me who to follow because
Right.
my compass comes from here. What I know is right and wrong.
Right. And what are like, give me three top issues that your constituents have addressed as concerns you need to tackle once you're mayor?
Well, I did this in, what's her name? Eleanor Woods' voter guide. I touched them down to three issues: unions for all lines of work, police accountability, community input, and budgeting. And I'm trying to keep, okay. So the solution to affordable housing is the wage and income inequality problem. Our right to petition, I think, will be summed up in the 10th Amendment, powers not reserved to the federal government, reserved to the people. Our right to demand a fair shake, okay? So living wage, 15 for minimum, 20 for skilled labor, $10 plus table server wages, $15 log hour wage, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, full paid maternity leave dictated by the doctor, not the corporation, overtime differential for salaried work. And I've been talking to a lot of my constituents that work at the hospital. They're saying staffing, because if you work 100 hours a week and you're a doctor, what I mean, so who's going to save their life? So it's evolved depending on where I'm working, but like being an advocate for the working people, that has been the theme. I call it the Fair Wage Initiative Act, having to do with dealing with the detailed issue of every type of labor, protecting women's maternity rights. Those are not racial issues though. Police accountability. They want a new police chief. They want justice for killings. Well, we need a new policy that takes it to the mayor's office, independent of IA interference, and so on and so forth. We need a new city attorney that's from the civil rights community, not the public community, and the community input and budgeting, the arts community, disabled community. It's our taxpayer money, our money. We should actually have a say in how our money is spent when we need it most. So these are the key tenets, okay? The right for democracy, teaching people how to get on a ballot, empowering people, telling the truth, honest conversations about the Constitution. Are you pro-Second Amendment? Well, can you know what it says? Okay, education and honesty, and corruption leading to dishonesty and disinformation, and people are dying because of that. So just an honest conversation about the truth.
Okay, well, another thing I want to ask you, Brian, is during your journey through the politics since 2015, have you done any community organizing or been involved in any direct panels that involve people in your community?
Well, organize the best I can because I work for a living, but just like this election, or different groups will set up candidate panels that I've been on several. Every election cycle, I've been on candidate panels. These are all online, by the way. But when I ran for Congress, I did different speaking engagements around a large crowd, like at the Kefauver downtown. I was at the Reuters Club. I was in Kingston, Tennessee. So I've been where I took questions from the voters, held my peace, and stood up to the powerful incumbents at the same time. Okay, and that you gotta have some courage. I stood in the same room as Chuck Fleischman and said, "You cannot talk about opposing all forms of racism and talk about border walls and really represent everybody." And I said that to Reuters Club. So real courage to stand up to real favorite politicians and call them out and say, "This is hypocritical and this is wrong." So I've got some real guts to stand up to some really powerful people. And, sitting on the same panel as Jim Coppinger. I don't care what you did for Hickson, what'd you do for Delwood? So I've got the guts to stand up to the politicians, stand up to the Democratic establishment. I've taken a stand against the powerful Republican, Congress and said, no, I'm not buying it anymore. Okay. You're a hypocrite and I'm going to call you out. So I've got the courage. I've got the experience to really fight and not take it is what it is for an answer.
Okay. I'm gonna move our conversation. We've only got 4 minutes left, so I'm gonna roll it back toward more of the arts education focused questions. And I know
Right.
you're not someone steeped in the arts, but we would really love
the
to.
art.
Yeah. Well, you wrote a book.
I love arts.
You're getting there.
I'm
I
not-
mean, you're
I mean,
you're part of the creative experience.
I mean, I got a book published, co-authored a couple years ago. I like to take photographs. I like to write, sing, write my own songs. I mean, I have no critic. I mean, just because I can't do one thing doesn't mean I can't do something. Okay.
Right, right. Did you have art? I'm just curious. Did you have art in elementary school?
Yeah, we did have art. Of course, at 42, that seems like a trillion years ago. Red Bank Elementary. There's Food City where my elementary school used to be in Red Bank. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I went to the elementary before it was a Food City, okay, or a file or whatever it was now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I haven't been in there, but I reckon I may have had art next to the meat department. I haven't been in there, but that's where now I played in that playground. We moved back to Red Bank back in '87. So I remember, and also I remember, I think it was middle school. No, it was 7th grade. I'm sorry, but trying to remember because 25. I know I did have art because I remember Miss Dysart's class, 7th grade art at the middle school, and the old junior high in Red Bank was somewhere on Dayton Boulevard. So I'm old school, no pun intended, right there. Old school, get it? I went to the old schools, and they built the new ones on Morrison Springs Road. But yes, I do remember art.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, in that regard, in your opinion, what do you feel is the ideal age for a child to start getting some arts education in their growth, and explain why?
Kids have been drawing pictures since they learned how to use a crayon. So I mean, as an educator, I know kids have been drawing pictures, allowing to draw since they were preschool, which is what has been going on for generations. So I think allowing kids and teaching kids creative artistic expressions and whatever they would like to begin at the earliest age possible. I watched America's Got Talent. There was a girl named Celine Tam. She's about 9. Her dad was a vocal coach, teaching her to sing when she was very young, and now she's awesome now. So I believe earliest possible age, okay, because isn't it true? Don't your kids like draw stick figures, make stuff? They do that anyway. So I think as early as humanly possible, find out what they like to do, teach them new things, teach them to learn 4 languages, early. That's how the brain works, So the earliest age possible to engage children in the arts, languages, music, whatever they like to do. I don't care if they're good at it, but just whatever the kid likes to do, encourage it in the school, in the home, in the community, because let them solve complex problems, because that's how the human mind works. As early as humanly possible, investing in our education.
Good to know. Good to know. So what kind of steps could you take? I know the school system is under Hamilton County, and I have to say they've been doing a great job trying to get more art teachers into the schools. Since you were at Red Bank, they had a lot of changes, and there's been a lot of time where there have been Title I schools without art programs, especially the elementary and formative years. So,
yeah.
And they are making incredible strides. But what kind of role do you see the city could maybe play in enhancing that to help fill these gaps where we're not able to give those kids a voice?
It takes a village to raise a child, and we're all paid a lot of money. I get elected by some miracle to serve the community. So I really believe that when it's safe in the pandemic situation, to go community by community. Okay, we do have a lot of arts festivals, though. I mean, my job schedule is insane, but if I want to get elected, I'll have more time. But I believe arts is a wonderful way to connect to the many cultures of Chattanooga. Because I mean, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, African American, and it's a great way to learn about our world. Arts is so, and also bring buyers out that want to buy some of the stuff. You put some money into our pockets, So I believe, as an idea had, when it say have community art fairs where anybody can bring any expression of art they have, where they can sell it, trade it, show it, display it. Because art can be a song, dance, any expression that the Lord has given you. I believe that we should invest in that, okay? For every community, every human being. And that's how we get to know each other, because we're all people. I mean, there's a song by DC Talk that said, by God's design, we are a skin kaleidoscope, okay? Look it up, DC Talk, Color People, beautiful song, But that is my heartbeat, is through art, we can see we're all human and make friends. That's my, I need to charge my phone, but I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, that is definitely important. One social distancing, safety, and go community by community. We do have diversity fairs, but we need to really expand that. Like go into Avondale. Go into the Latino communities, and the Asian, and even have a big thing at Miller Park or any other venue, the Ingle Stadium, and just put some serious resources and do several venues where anybody can bring any expression of art they have. We get to know each other. They can buy and sell, trade it. And we need to do a lot more of that as a way to connect the city together as one city and really Biden quote, see each other again. And we need to do that,
Wonderful. Well, I think
That's
Monica's great. Ready to take on the Q&A for the rest of it. Ryan, thank you for letting me spend this time really throwing some of the pre-planned questions at you. And
Cool.
I will let Monica take it away.
Thank you so much, Kate. Ryan, I will say you are not lacking any passion, and that is fantastic. So,
let me get to my phone charger so I can keep the party rolling. Continue,
fantastic.
Please.
All right, so we have 3 questions for you, and then we'll complete our Zoom. The next question is, what makes you most qualified to be mayor? Please give some examples of your leadership and accomplishments that you feel have prepared you for this.
Okay, accomplishment. I have a bachelor's degree in political science. I've been speaking in Spanish and studying it since I was 14 years old. I'm now 42. Okay. Let's see. I did a master's thesis in Hispanic American family acculturation in the target language when I did my research at my time University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Let's see. As far as education, I'm very well educated. I understand the Constitution, have a pocket copy, can read it, can interpret it, and willing to answer truthful questions about what it really says and doesn't say. So we know our rights and responsibilities. Let's see. I also, having run for office, because I have the education, I understand the Constitution, I understand urban politics, political thought. I spent hours studying case briefs in college. Let's see, and I've run for Congress. That means I understand the interplay of each level of government and how each issue is, is affected. So, policies that affect us here at the city level, I understand because of my training, my education, and my experience. Like this is a national policy issue affecting here at the city level. This is a county policy. This is a state policy. So I know what avenue to take to correct the issue that affects at the city, though. Because you think this is an issue the city America can fix. It may not be. It may be a state policy that affects us. So having the education to understand that is key. And knowing what leader to go to fix this issue, that's also important. the education that I have. I'm not a businessman. Also, being on the ballot twice, I have run in elections that are far more reaching than other people that run today, because most of them either ran before or haven't. And I've actually had the experience of being on the national and county stage of dealing with the issues that affect us here at the city. So as a candidate for office twice, a former Spanish instructor, but I also have what I call a PhD in the School of Hard Knocks, because it is an axiom that people believe the people closest to the pain should be closest to the policy. I'm in pain. I make $10.50 an hour. I'm disabled, but I make too much. I've lost my disability. I have to reduce my pay to get it back. I've got a $500 Medicare bill I can't pay. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I don't get around well. I've got health care that I can't pay for. I work a job that doesn't pay enough. I am trapped. So if that sounds like you, you need to vote for me. How many people out there, because I am as close to the pain as it can get. I've been without a home. I've been to the food bank. I've called 211. Okay. I've been a domestic violence victim. I've been attacked by a knife by my spouse. Been there, done that. I've been held up at gunpoint. I've lived in neighborhoods like in Avondale. There are memorials to the dead on every corner. You see a stuffed toy, you see a flower, someone got shot there. Mm-hmm. Kids sell drugs on bicycles. I've lived in the inner city. I've lived in the suburbs. I've seen the front line. COVID ravaging my family too. Mm-hmm. So I'm as close to the pain as you can get. And therefore I should be close to the policy from my education and my life experience. And I understand we need to fill the pots in the kitchen before we fill the pots in the streets.
Okay. Well, thank you for your passion, and thank you for, explaining how you can relate to constituents and what they're going through. And I think if anything has taught us all that we need a better understanding and to do some work on our civics. I think those last 4 years, I think we've all learned a lot. So thank you for that. Next question for you, sir, is how would you integrate the arts as a part of our city's response to COVID-19 recovery?
Well, just so that members of the arts community don't become casualties of COVID-19, we have to do it carefully, okay? Because from the Crown Prince of England to my family, it is no respecter of persons. So you got the Zoom community, you have the online community, expressions of art, sell art for fundraising for families, and so on and so forth. So like online art auctions and stuff like that. Let's say people are community, right, and said, I'm gonna, anyone can have a submission. Let's say I want to sell this piece, whatever I've got, a song or a painting or whatever, and make the online art auction and put it toward rental incentives. Let's say I'm the mayor. Say we're going to raise money to save the city, from homelessness and so on and so forth, right? We're going to have it. So it's like we're going to do Zoom online art auction. People come and bid on it, and we donate that money to help the people. And bypassing any agency, it's going to. You're going to come. You come see me. I'm not going to ask questions about. I'm not going to get into your Kool-Aid. I'm not going to get into your finances. You ask for help, you're going to get it. Because business people get help when they ask for it. It's high time we get help when we ask for it.
Okay, that's fantastic. I think you may have misunderstood my question, though, is that I'm asking, while I think that is the good answer and response that and the relief to the artist, what I'm asking is how you would use the artist in the recovery, in the sense of art heals, it helps with mental health. There's going to be a lot of folks who have PTSD from COVID and mental health capacity has weakened during this. So things like that, there's been a lot of arts organizations who've been out there delivering arts kits, delivering food, getting food to the community, things like that, so we want to make sure that our candidates consider using this. We have over 6,500 folks in the arts. We want them to be a part of this healing and a part of this recovery.
Right. Yeah. I think what I said was in tandem that yes, obviously, obviously selling art for resource because money has to come from somewhere. So that's that, I think that would be part of it. Yes, but art is very therapeutic. You know, so going into communities, into community with safety, you know, allowing people to learn art, you know, enjoy art, you know, learn different things. Though art is teaching their craft to others and stuff like that. You know, so it's therapeutic, and also art can be as a way to bridge a gap from different cultures as well. There's a lot of things that they can do. You know, so the artists want to get involved. Then, as merit, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have like a meeting, like a brainstorm meeting, a Zoom meeting, like we're doing right now. Okay, like, and everyone present all their ideas because I don't have them all on here. Okay,
Right.
and okay, and then, you know, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have like, okay, well, you're good at organizing, you're good at teaching. What skills do you bring to the table? So as the mayor, we're gonna have a meeting. You know, everybody. Okay, so what community do you represent? Where you comfortable going? Okay, what venues can we use as a city to have like art tutorials, art therapy? You know, you know, I mean, we could. I don't know. Trying to think. You know.
Well, I was just going to say, lucky for you, you have a lot of artists that can help you and bring you ideas. So, I mean, lucky for any candidate, really. The artists will bring you the ideas of how they can help as long as you recruit them and involve them and include them. I have one last question for you, and you've touched on this already, but this is more specific. And so I just wanted to give you the opportunity to answer this one. This last question is, why should the people who make up the local arts and culture sector vote for you?
Because I am fighting for the livelihoods of regular, everyday people. Because there are many people that say I'm patrons of the arts, but their wealth, they want to generate and focus wealth to the wealthy few, while artists are starving. So therefore, because my sole purpose is to organize and to stand up for the downtrodden, I've got a lot of great ideas, and my focus will always be to protect the lives and health and well-being and financial saliency of the regular working people.
Okay. That is fantastic. All right, let's see. So thank you everyone for taking time to participate today. I would like to remind everyone that we have more of these events scheduled as we get closer to Election Day and we hear back from candidates. We are nearing the end of the list, but on next Tuesday, the 26th, we have candidate Robert C. Wilson at 12 o'clock for a lunch and learn. And Kate, do you have any announcements that you'd like to share with any of the attendees?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Few things brewing, but you guys will know as soon as I've got something I can officially report.
Fantastic, fantastic. Amy, do you have anything you'd like to share from Arts Build?
Just a big thank you from Arts Build to you, Monica, with Arts Forward, and to Kate and to Ryan for being here with us today.
I'll have a Facebook live town hall February 5th at 7 o'clock. I go online all the time. You can contact me at my phone number, 423-355-9071. Email me, ryanlove@yahoo.com. George Ryan Love from there on Facebook. My home, I live in the Mayoral Apartments. Look me up. I'm your neighbor. I'm your friend. Join the love revolution. Vote for love, and we'll make sure that the working people will survive this pandemic and for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I like that. Join the love revolution. That sounds good.
Well, see, my last name is Love. Bernie's Political Revolution, though. I just think, and one of my favorite songs by New Song called Love Revolution, though. It's a song title. Look it up. Love Revolution by New Song. Mm-hmm. It just clicked.
That's cool.
It just clicked.
Well, instead of feel the burn for Bernie, you could say feel the love. How about that?
Join the love revolution.
There you go.
Chattanooga, change the future.
There you go. Thank you so much, Ryan. We really appreciate you, and we wish you the best of luck.
For all of us, we're going to win.
Yes, sir.
All right. God bless. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.